Thank you, and welcome to the Empire News at 10. Today, 1 year since the outbreak of the mutiny in India, we ask, how did it begin and what happened? And, with the ascent of the Earl of Derby to the Prime Ministership, we ask what it means for the United Kingdom, and does he have what it takes? But first, to Frank with the weather.
Thanks, Dom. It's cloudy. Cheers.
Thank you, Frank. Now, experts have put the rebellion down to several causes of underlying resentment in the Indian population, mainly our glorious efforts to abolish the despicable practices of Thagi and Sati, as well as our missionaries trying to convert them to the true light of God, Christianity. When combined with the Mulhouse reforms and the annexation of Awadh under the doctrine of lapse, this led to the perfect storm gathering in Meerut, where rumours began to spread about cartridges being introduced covered in animal fat. What? Ah, perfect. Now, over to Ethan Rushby, our India reporter, who has managed to get an interview with one of those rebellious sepoys.
Thank you, Dom. I'm here in a British garrison in India with Madhav, a captured sepoy who the rebellion has not gone so well for. So, Madhav, so why were the new cartridges such an issue for you in particular?
Because they are offensive to both Hindus and Muslims. Hindus consider beef offensive, while Muslims consider pork offensive.
So, what did you think of how quickly the mutiny spread?
Initially, it spread really quickly throughout, especially northern and eastern India. However, unfortunately, it didn't catch on to southern and western India as much.
So, how did you feel about the rebellion's initial successes, such as in Cawnpore?
Initially, it started off really well, especially with Cawnpore, as we had only taken that in 18 days. The 27th of June was a fantastic day for all Indians and India.
And what did you think of the restoration of Bahadur Shah II on the 11th of May?
Well, initially I was optimistic because I thought he would be able to lead us to victory against the British, but unfortunately he turned out to be a disappointment.
So with the benefit of hindsight, what do you think you yourself would have done differently?
Well, probably run away quicker while the British tried to catch me.
Yeah. And do you have any last words for us, Madhav?
Death to the British!
Thank you so much, Madhav. You've been an honour to interview. Thank you, Dom. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Ethan. And now, this is what Benjamin Disraeli, veteran MP and once Chancellor of the Exchequer, had to say upon the outbreak of the mutiny last year.
The measures which may be adequate in the case of a military mutiny will not be adequate to cope with a national revolt. The measures which may be perfectly competent to deal with conduct that is only the consequence of sudden impulse will be totally insufficient to deal with conduct that is the consequence of conspiracy long matured, deeply laid and extensively ramified. The House must feel that upon the correct appreciation of that issue, the greatest of all questions, namely will be the measures of which the government ought to adopt or Parliament ought to sanction.
Thank you. And now, despite Mr. Disraeli's fears, the British were actually victorious in our battle against the Indians. In fact, now we go to our India reporter, Ethan Rushby, who has an interview with Sir Colin Campbell.
Thank you, Dom. I'm lucky enough to be here with Sir Colin Campbell, the leader of the British Army in India. So, Colin, can you tell us about the Battle of Badli K Saray?
Of course. So, on the 8th of June, our forces engaged the rebel force of 9,000 troops. See, we were only a force of 2,000, but we successfully engaged the right flank, and our Burqa units from Nepal engaged the artillery and took 13 guns with only 51 killed. So, a pretty good trade, if you ask me. The rebel forces retreated to Delphi, and we began the siege of the city. And it lasted 3 months until the 21st of September, in which we began 7 weeks of street fighting after a heavy artillery brigade from the Punjabi region eventually began to shell the city. We captured Bahar Shah Zafar, yes,
Yeah.
and then we killed all his sons. So a good British victory, in my opinion.
So, as I understand it, one of your first victories was the siege and relief of Lucknow. Could you tell us more about that?
Yes, well, meanwhile we were doing the siege of Delphi, I personally relieved the city. See, on the end of June, Lucknow was besieged by rebel forces, and our first relief force arrived on the 21st of September, but caught in the siege itself. My second relief force, personally, on the 14th of November, until the 17th of November, began to free the city. However, we had to tactically withdraw from the city just a few weeks later, and on the next year, on March, we retook the city, so all is not lost.
Thank you, Sir Campbell. Can you tell us more about the reason for your victory?
Yes, well, see, the rebel forces were not unified. They were an unorganized mob of Indian irregulars from Delphi. It was only the Bengali army that rebelled against us. The Madras and Bombay units stayed loyal to the British Empire. And bear in mind, not every single Indian was unappreciative of our rule. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Sir Campbell. Is there anything you would like to say to our viewers at home?
Don't give up hope, citizens. The British have everything under control.
Thank you so much for agreeing to this interview, Sir Campbell. Back to you, Dom, in the studio.
Thank you, Ethan, and thank you at home for listening. This has been the Empire News at 10.